So this is the homemade pump I made for the solar thermal car. I'll be using it first for the test model and then possibly for the full-scale one. These motors and all these parts, the pump, are all car parts I found in the garbage. Right now I'm going to do a flow rate test. So I'm going to let the motor run for a bit, make sure there's no air in the system, and then I'm going to switch over and I'm going to time how much oil is pumped over a certain amount of time. From that test, I calculated the flow rate. So I did about a liter in just over 3 seconds. That comes out to 15 liters per minute. And for the full-size solar car, the tube is going to be 24 feet long, and there'll be about 20 liters of oil in there. So just over 1 minute, I can replace all that hot oil with the cold oil for the heat transfer. So this pump, as it is right here, would be able to run the solar thermal car. So it's good enough for a solar thermal car. So it's great to have a part. It's ready to go for the full thing. I'm going to use this pump for small testing in the test model and then for the final solar thermal car. But what I love about this is that I took just free parts that I found in the garbage. They're all car parts. There's a car radiator fan motor. The actual pump is a G-rotor pump. It's out of a Ford. It's just an oil pump for Ford to circulate the oil. I wanted to get that because it can withstand the high temperatures of the hot motor oil. And then I just took these two gears and I took wood pieces to join them. And it's quite noisy, but it works very well. And it's completely free. So all the parts here are free. I had to pay for the plumbing, and that's about it. So for the drive, there's just this 6-sided piece here, this fitting. It's about 1/4 inch, and I just used that, and I put a shaft in from like a drill, and then I had an extension bar, and I just glued this gear with JB Weld on an extension bar. So we have the motor and the gear that I made, and this is the second gear, and there's a ball bearing right there, and it's held in place by those pieces of wood, and that holds the shaft, makes sure the gears mesh properly. Have this top bearing, and what I do is there's 2 pieces of wood under here that wedge the bearing on both sides, and what I do is I pull it towards so that I can mesh the gear with the motor gear here. So I have these clamps so I can loosen these and then pull this wood piece which pulls the bearing in, and that pulls the gears together. I weld up both pipes to test the pump on both sides, and now I have these flanges I had to make to fit this pipe, and I have 2 layers of cork. I believe it's about 1/32 of an inch thick. So I just clamped it down with these bolts, and hopefully that is going to be liquid tight. So there's Teflon tape where it's screwed in there, and then everything else is done with the lead solder.